Bald Fest. You saw I did Bald Fest. That
2 years running.
Yeah, Bald Fest.
What is Bald Fest?
Yeah, explain to us what Bald Fest is.
Bald Fest is a festival for bald people. I did. That was another thing I did.
Soon.
Are you only able to show up if you're bald?
No,
oh, so
anyone.
show up also.
You could show up. Yeah.
Is it like support
you could
the
be
bald
an
community?
Yeah, you could be an ally.
Okay.
Another episode of Mislabeled. We are up to number 28. Zach, we are churning them out. One a week, and we're keeping to it. Shmuley, how you feeling?
Better than I was, yeah.
Better than he was.
Thank God.
He's a trooper here.
I'm a trooper. I'm a real trooper getting up at 10:30 a.m. and I'm trooping right now.
Love it. I freaking love it. All right, so today we have a very, very special guest with us. Definitely the biggest guest, concerning followers for sure, that we've ever had. We have with us Kosha Dillz.
Hey,
right?
What's going on?
Did I pronounce it
What's
right?
up? What's up?
Yeah.
Knocked it out of the
Congrats.
park, right?
Knocked it out the park.
You killed that, bro.
I know.
Smooth sailing from here.
So, yeah, I really appreciate you coming on and taking your time, first of all. I know Zach, you guys are good friends, Zach?
Not good friends, but we know each other.
We are not good friends.
We are. I don't really like it. No. I would say that I don't remember exactly how I met you. I think it was literally on the street, because you are someone who is out there on the streets most.
We met in 2020. Yeah. We met in 2020. Yeah.
I think it was outside Prospect Park.
Yes.
Yes, it was.
I thought I remember you came one time to see me at Arlene's Grocery.
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
I danced a little bit. I did a little break dance outside while you were rapping. Yeah. I think I've bumped into you just out and about in Brooklyn and Manhattan probably like 4, 5, 6 times.
You're one of the Jewish dudes that's always outside.
I am outside a lot. Not as much as you, but I am outside.
Yeah, no, seriously.
It's actually a good call. Like, I actually hear that, and the Jewish people that are outside, I never go outside, so it's very, I never thought of life.
I mean, we are in like Long Island, you know, right? Is that where we're at? Or,
we're in Nassau County. Yeah,
we're in Nassau County.
Part of Long Island, yeah. But I don't hang out outside, so it's an interesting, like, the only time I go outside.
You have a massive yard here, you know?
Yeah.
You should go outside is basically.
I just drive down the block when I have to go somewhere. No, literally, like, if I have to go to, like, around the corner, I just get in my car and drive.
Yeah. You also order a lot of food directly to your bed. So that you don't have to leave.
Uber Eats is number one customer. It's labia wiener.
Yeah, no, I literally, the rest of the podcast. I literally, by the way, I'm a huge Uber Eats guy. I don't like moving. One of my things.
Listen, when you reach label stature in life, you don't have to move.
You know, I never moved. All
right, but basically, I'm very excited to have you on because, again, I've bumped into you 5, 6 times. I know a little bit about what you're about. I follow you on Insta. I see you going like viral probably, every 2 months, you're maybe even more frequently. You're just like another video. So I'm really relishing this chance to like get to know you a little bit better, you know, ask you some questions I've never really gotten to ask you, and give the people at home, and especially some of the like the Frum community that watches us, like a little bit of a take on you, because you're a known guy, but like, let's get to actually know you know, that sort of thing. I said, let's start with the most topical thing now. Like, what's the thing that you're plugging right now?
I mean, you know, right now, I mean, what's the thing you're plugging? I mean, so people obviously know I rap. So you're just speaking about the viral thing. So
yeah.
For people that don't know, even what going viral really is in New York, I sort of started doing the street performing, which is how you met me, which has sort of been a New York thing. So that started happening in 2020. I think you met me before I ever went viral, actually, because the first time was the Hanukkah blizzard, where I started rapping in extreme weather. So like, if it was snowing, I would go outside and start rapping, and then I would send it to all the New York pages, and they were like, New York people are crazy. And then people just started sharing it because it was, you know, making people happy.
Yeah.
And that went to rapid outside sporting events. And recently I did the Yankees when they won, right before they lost, literally the week after. But that went so big. Like, you know, it got like, I think maybe 1 million or 2 million. It wasn't like the biggest one I did, but it was total surprise because I'd never gone to a Yankees game. So
wait, that was your first Yankees game?
Yeah, I went outside and it was the first one, and everyone's like, and it really like struck a nerve with the sports world, because WFAN I was on the sports radio, and then obviously the Kanye thing was in the midst of happening, because I remember while that was happening, I was like, oh, I should make something about Kanye. And then I saw Kanye with Nick Cannon, who I'm also on Wild and Out. So I was like, "Man, this is really awkward." Because
Yeah.
that show was canceled for the same thing. It was canceled for the same thing. It wasn't on the level of Kanye because he basically got canceled and then he started studying with rabbis and was going to the ADL and just, anything.
We're talking Nick or
Nick
Kanye?
Cannon. Nick Cannon. Yeah.
Nick's been educating himself since the incident.
Yeah, exactly.
For people who don't know, can you want
For
to explain
people
a little
don't
more
know,
about
so
that?
yeah. So, for those who don't know, I'm on a television show called Wild and Out. It's on its 20 seasons. It's a
I grew up with
freestyle.
that shit.
Bro,
Dude,
I'm
grew
right now.
up with
I
that shit.
loved Wild and Out growing up. MTV2, I
Yeah.
loved that.
I have
Channel 43.
no idea what you guys are talking about, by the way.
Wild and Out was one of
Let-
the OG, like, just comedian music.
Yeah, it's a black
sure.
comedy show, improv game show
Yeah.
where it's like black squad versus red squad, new school versus old school. And I am the Jewish guy on the show.
You are the
That's
token
right.
Jew.
I am the token Jew. No, but there's another Jew, or Mash. She's the Israeli comedian.
Where
She sort of plays like the foreigner. That's like sort of her brand. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So
meanwhile,
when-
she was born in Long Island.
no. She was born in Israel, And I'm, so it's cool. We get to speak Hebrew on set, and they have kosher food there. It's really actually very
They
welcoming.
get you kosher food.
Yeah, no, they treat us better than Jewish establishments, honestly. yeah.
Ouch.
So this is shot in Atlanta. It's I'm the guy on that set. Obviously, Nick was canceled, and then the show came back on and had a couple seasons, and then we got on. So it was just ironic that there wasn't.
I gotta ask the tough question though. Do you think hiring you was sort of a PR move for them?
No,
Like, look, we have a Jew. We can't be
no,
anti-Semitic.
No, because the show would have been fine with or without us.
Sure.
Honestly, I mean, it's better with us,
Mhm.
to be honest, because we auditioned and we got through, but we were better than everyone else.
Yeah,
on
you're
the
an obvious
auditions.
choice for Wild and Out.
Yeah, so
Because like half the challenges on Wild and Out have to do with like coming up with raps on the spot.
yeah, on
And
the
that's
spot,
literally your
and-
bread and butter.
yeah, but I mean, you're prepping a little bit, but just to shift the paradigm back to Kanye
Sure.
is that Wild and Out. There was a picture after Kanye was beginning to get canceled. This was like in early to mid October. There was a picture with him hugging Nick. So everyone's like, "What's it like to be on a show?" And you're like, "Well." Once I saw that picture, I was like, "Okay, I need to do something." That song has been going viral. I mean, it probably got a couple million on Twitter. The behind the scenes when I was rapping in front of 770 and Tefillin, which has been, really awesome. It was great because once I was doing it, I was like, "This is gonna
Has
go
that
so
been-
crazy."
Curiosity, has that been a big source of contention within the Jewish community?
I mean,
Not at all.
some
Do you get
people
some shit from
may,
comments?
yeah, whatever. But it's like, I don't. It's right there. You know what I mean? Like nothing. The same people would give me shit for like eating a cheeseburger. You know what I mean? It would have been like
Yeah.
the same level of why can't you do this? How could you do anything?
Right.
I think Mordechai Lightstone was there. Shout out to Motel on Twitter, Mottel. I think he does socials for Chabad, and he loves me. And he's
amazing.
everyone's freaking out while you're shooting it. He's like, it's don't worry, it's Tishrei. He's like, no one has anything to do, which I really thought was funny. He's like, I just blame it on Tishrei, I was like, yeah.
Sometimes
So now
I
it's
love
Kosha and
Chabad so
everything.
much.
Yeah. So we were shooting, and that video had gone viral, and then we dropped the video. The behind the scenes was going more viral than the video, and then people started posting. The Jews have responded to Kanye West.
You are the Jews.
Yeah. And everyone's like, yo. And then like I posted like, man, this Kanye diss track goes hard. And it's just, it got ripped and put all over. And then the video's obviously still going, and that has over, 100,000 and like in like a week and a half.
And after you're on this pod, it's gonna have like 102.
No. Listen,
You just gave us 2,000.
but really, it really went viral in like the in the hip hop community before the Jewish community, and then obviously and that's really
That's
kind
nice.
of because Bars put it up, and then Puberty and Memesar did like a co-post, and that's like 50 million. So then the interesting thing is, you're talking to these people, and they're like, well, we want to write. There were 3 levels of, Jews control the media, right? One, there's thinking that I'm responsible for everything. 2, there's the Jews have responded. to Kanye West, which is obviously it's all me. I
Right,
am the
right,
Jews, right? This
right.
is all my content.
You are now
that
the
they're-
Jews.
Yes.
Forever and always, you are the Jews.
The less anti-Semitic version, clickbaity version is a group of Jewish people have gathered. That's the next one.
That's the next one, sure.
And then the one that I switched them to was a Jewish rapper has responded. To, if you want to use Jewish, we're going to have to go with a Jewish rapper. You know what I'm saying? And I'm okay with being a Jewish rapper.
Sure.
I've called myself a Jewish rapper.
Yeah.
I am the Jewish rapper of Wild and Out. You know what I mean? Because easy. Oh, what's his name? Okay, Kosha Dillz. Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
that's kind of your brand. Is you very much entrenched in hip hop and you're a rapper. You're very much entrenched in Judaism.
Exactly, and I've been doing that since '05. I mean, my first record was on a label called shout out to label Matzah for Your Mouth Records. It was a picture. If you Google it,
That's an unbelievable.
it's a matzo ball. It's like an angry matzo ball eating a piece of matzah with like a yarmulke. It's like really angry. It's you could pull up an image and throw it on the screen or something like that. And
That's great.
I gotta say, as an aside, the first time I ever heard of you, this is way before I met you. I'm talking about like high school, Zach. Like when someone sent me your video, it was like, "Yo, this guy's Jewish. I think he might be from."
I think he might be from.
You've confused a lot of people. Like a lot of people. I thought you were like a Lakewood guy that like went OT like off the derech and was like doing his own thing. But you had this video, hanging out, and you were talking about Motzei Shabbos schnitzel, and you were like in bed with like a video baddie. And I was like, what is this? It like blew my mind. It melted the steel beams in my mind. Motzei Shabbos schnitzel.
Mochi Shabbos Schnitzel, talking like I'm Sicily.
Hey,
I ain't got no pasta mama. All I got is Listerine. This flow is so unorthodox. Religious girls don't mention me. They into me like coffee and cake. Yeah. It's like so the guy who produced that, Jesse Shacken, ended up producing See a Chandelier. You know that song? Yeah, he's huge.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yes.
I've been in a Kohl's before. I've heard it.
That was my so I lived in LA from like 2011 to 2019.
Sure.
And then I moved to Israel, and then I came back to LA, and then I moved to New York, and then like summer of 2020, like started subletting and stuff. I'm like, I'm doing New York, but when I was well, the way I got to that song Hanging Out is that I had a Super Bowl commercial for this song called Cellular Phone, which was like my first song. And it's kind of like, I call my rap like user-friendly rap. And there was always like a lot of Jewish pride, and there was always like a Jewish stab line. And I just had a discussion with another Jewish rapper named Ill Bill, who is actually probably one of my inspirations. They were the first people to use Hebrew text like in early 2000s. And they were the guys that were getting the calls to be like the Jewish answer to House of Pain. Like when record labels were trying to, I mean, they were working with Leor Cohen and a lot of the, names that you see that are the Jewish names of the music industry, right?
Right.
And that was always kind of my thing. It was like strong Jewish representation. Like, I'm not a weak Jew. I'm like a hard ass dude. Like I used to sell drugs, I used to sell coke, I used to sell, what I'm saying, weed and mushrooms and get locked up. And this is like, I'm a like former drug addict, and I'm like hard in the streets. Sort of like, have you ever seen Goodfellas?
Of course.
I have.
Of course. So, okay, yeah, okay, of course. So Goodfellas. There's like all the Italian dudes, and then there's like the sleazy Jewish dude that was like, dating like never dating a Jewish girl, and like that was me. You know what I'm saying? Like that was my guy. That was my character.
Yeah.
So I'm Rami. So that's my real name, Rami Evanesh, and I'm like, I'm not like, I am Israeli American. I was the first one born here in my family. So I always felt more connected to like the Israeli side and Jewish identity versus religion. But the religious thing, I don't know, it just happened. Like I had worked with Matisyahu when I got out of jail. And then I was like all these happier spiritual Jews. And if you were around during like the mid 2000s to when Jewish music was coming about through like Shem Speed, and there were all these things in Brooklyn and J-Dub Records, and there was this rise of Jewish music. And it was like,
Can you speak more to that? Like, what sort of Jewish music are you talking about?
Moshav, Soul Farm.
Okay.
Those are
like
and
the
now
outsiders that kind of make Jewish music
cool. Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
The world was trying to make Jewish stuff cool. After Matisyahu came out, it was more it was in pop culture, right? And that's something I always started to aim to, is that like, how can I bring Jewishness to pop culture?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
In a positive way, but also
in a positive way. In a cool way, yeah.
How often do Jews get depicted in media as like, we're always the nerds on TV shows.
Exactly.
We're always like, it's cool to have someone who's hard, who has street cred You know?
Exactly. Yeah. And you're going and like, listen, you know, Jews love rap music. I think Mac Miller said it. He's like, Jews love hip hop.
We do.
And you know, this
White
is
Jewish kids.
white Jewish kids.
love
Yeah. French Jewish kids love hip hop. Israeli kids love hip hop.
wow.
I mean, but something I realized is that like when I was starting all this, I was like, okay, you know, hanging out. New York Nico directed that video actually before he was New York Nico.
I did not know you guys went that way back.
Yeah, and he was doing music videos back then, and that was just like that was sort of similar. That hanging out video was sort of like what I aspired to do in sort of New York. It was just like a gang of dudes mobbing out. We were just going out and just kind of wilding, and we were just, you know, doing stuff. And it was in LA, but you know, I lived in Koreatown, and that video, there's like someone actually tweeted an image. He's like, "Could you explain this?" And it was like this chick from Craigslist that, you know, you get like an actress for like $50 or $100. We're like, we need a girl in a music video that's like a model in LA, you know, just want to work for the day. And I had first time dancers. I had dancers from, I met the people. I did Yo Gabba Gabba. You know that show? It was a
Do you
kid's
know
show.
You did Yo Gabba Gabba?
I did. Yeah.
That's everything I do. Man.
I've done a lot of stuff.
Yo Gabba Gabba.
Well, yeah. I had a song called the Sweatpants Song. And it was like, you know, my manager at the time, Brandon Dorsky, I don't know, we somehow landed it and we're like, yo, Gabba Gabba, and we get involved. And I was doing the live shows as like the special musical guest. And I met a guy there named Roland, and he was like a dancer, and he had dancers from the LA Lakers. So I was like, we could get some LA Lakers. And I'm like, how much do I got to pay you guys to like show up to the video? Perfect. Let's do it. Let's dance in a laundromat. And you're just doing weird stuff. This girl from Craigslist is like in my bed at the time. And we're like, you know, just play fight with like, I don't think Nico gave me like a drill bit. I don't know. It was like a drill. Like literally, everyone's like, "What's going on here?" And that was sort of like this abstract art to me, because everyone's like, you can't stop watching because you're like, "What is this guy doing?"
It's like shameless. It's like shameless.
My brain is in total chaos
you know,
right now.
it is shameless, because when you're making art, who are you to judge my art? First, the song's good. And then there's this girl, and then there's like this Jewish guy, and then there's this. Oh, you're talking about that?
Yeah, he's not
I'm talking about me.
No, so I'm saying.
I know, but I'm talking about. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm saying, yeah. You know the show?
Yeah.
Oh, so I love that show. It's one of my favorites because it just goes from crazier to crazier. Like, that's what it sounds like here.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's sort of my mentality of once I figured out, okay, what's working for me. Because sort of you always look back at your stuff and you're like, okay, this worked. Okay, this collaboration worked, you know, and then I did stuff with Matisyahu. Then I'm like, okay, that worked for that. And then, you know, I charted on Billboard. I'm like, okay, this was cool, but how do I switch it from the physical being present, like selling my CDs, to like online? Like, let's just stay home and make it go.
Right.
And when I was
run itself.
Yeah, let it sell itself. And, you know, last year I had the Fat Joe thing happen, which was part of my biggest New York moment, where I was rapping outside Madison Square Garden about a year ago. And then I connected with Nissim Black, and we were like, let's remix Adam Sandler's thing.
Do a little bit of backstory, because a lot of people don't know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah.
There's definitely people listening to this pod who haven't seen these viral videos. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But
So I started rapping outside Madison Square Garden. Like I'm a big project guy. So I'm like, okay, for the next 90 days, I'm going to rap out on the street, and we're going to do like a 90-day rehab, but it's going to be street performing. And this will be a little project. And then I'm like, for this right now I'm doing a 75 hard, where you like work out twice a day, and like, I'm going to see what happens to my body. You know, I'm very like compartment. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I decided to rap outside every Knicks game. I'm like, this is what I'm going to do. This will be my job. You know, I'll make my little cash. I'll get all my social media up. And this started just taking off. And I rapped the first game. There was like some drunk guy tried to battle me that got like 50,000 views. I just destroyed some dude. Whatever. I don't even think he was a rapper. He was just wasted. And it was just like, you know.
To be fair, you would destroy most people who were prepared and not drunk.
Yeah. But I don't know. Sometimes it's just more fun to just destroy somebody who's not like just
not prepared for.
Yeah, like it's like you see like drunk guy like steps to MMA fighter, and you're like, oh my god, I gotta see this. I was like, you know, let's just keep this going. And then one day, there was the next 4 games. Something happened. There was a side talk thing. The Bing Bong thing started.
Oh my god!
So that happened.
That was so annoying.
but it was a great moment because it was sort of like the New York internet community.
Yeah.
And this is sort of what, we were talking about the hanging out video, that sort of chaos sort of switched to the street stuff of New York City. I was rapping outside, and then a celebrity, Fat Joe, who made
Who I also grew up listening to.
Yeah, who made Lean Back,
Yeah.
rapped with me, and I knew all the words to his song, and it was like a song from like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
That was like a special guest verse on another. It wasn't even his
Was
song.
he like impressed that you knew?
Yeah.
It's kind of a deep cut.
It's got
Yeah. He's like, let me come out with this verse from 20 years ago that this guy definitely doesn't know, and I knew every word.
Fuck.
So that even made it more, and it was in a rainstorm, like I said, extreme weather, which has always been a thing of mine, like rapping, doing extreme things, rapping. I should
I've
be
seen you-
skydiving and rapping
I'm
while
just
I'm
trying to think of
skydiving.
all the costumes I've seen you rapping in on your Insta and on like New York Nico's Insta.
Mhm.
Also, people shout out New York Nico. If people don't know, New York Nico's the best. He's like the unofficial talent scout of New York, and he has a ton of followers, and he just captures the craziest shit in New York because
Yeah.
he's outside 99.9% of the time.
Yeah,
He lives outside.
it's fun for me because I don't like being inside. For me, I'm like, I need other people to be inside sending emails, and I'd rather just go outside and create, and that'd be my workforce. And that was sort of what really took it off last year was the street performing. And when I had that happen, I sort of realized what, fast forwarding to today, the Fat Joe moment of rapping outside, that led to my Hanukkah song with Nissim. So now we're taking like raw videos and moments and making them into songs. So the Hanukkah song was my first ever viral song, which I've never had a viral song ever. It just, I would release songs and people are like, I like your song, but they didn't really know it. And then it's when I started experiencing just this past year. And I mean, I've been rapping for, like I said, since 2005 is when I put out my first vinyl.
So we're talking about almost 20 years.
17 years.
17 years, yeah.
I'm not that good at math. It's been your main occupation for 17 years.
I mean, definitely my main occupation since 2009 after I won a Hot 97. I won a Hot 97 rap battle at Giant Stadium. And then I started, once I moved to LA, I never had a job. That was 2011. Like I never had, the only other job I had was working at the rehab I went to and delivering pizza like in the mid 2000, you know what I mean? That was it. So
How does that work? If you don't mind me asking, like from an income perspective, like,
have you ever had a job or it's
Well,
crazy?
no, it's a hard, like artists in general. It's hard.
Yeah. No, people, actually, let's say this. People totally know you could make money in music. The Jewish world does not grasp how people make money from music because they don't value it as another job. They only value other things, accountants, cash advance, business, doctor, dentist. But I make great money doing music because
Really?
music, you just said really.
No, what I mean to say is
No, but
just
I need
clarify.
I need to clarify with you and just anyone listening is that musicians make great money because it's wide open, especially for a Jewish artist, because there's such a high demand for Jewish talent within the Jewish community. And then outside the Jewish community, the bridges that you cross, plus the brand deals that you get from going viral are insane.
Yeah.
The amount of people offering me
You're
money
getting
for
Instagram
stuff.
money. You're getting Instagram.
Yeah, you get
money.
Instagram
100%.
stuff. You get
YouTube
so
money.
much YouTube money is totally even is a side thing. Plus, you get money from streaming. You get money from real. I mean, there's so many facets of how much money you could
It's
make
very diversified.
outside of the music. It's sort of like you get something on the street. You get something here. You get something there. You get a connection from another friend. You play a bar mitzvah. You do a custom song. I mean, you're making. And luckily, I once spoke to this about to Yehuda from Moshav. Shout out to Yehuda. He was like, "Yeah, thank God for Jewish music because you could play a gig, you can make a couple thousand. You have to split it with everybody. Then you play a wedding, which is like for the same crowd that would also come to your show. You could get paid like $7 to 10 grand, to do
Weddings make
something.
so much more money than gigs.
Yeah, and everyone
crazy.
in life, and this is just for anyone
Wait,
listening.
you've played weddings? I'm sorry, I didn't even.
Yeah, I played weddings.
I'm just
yeah.
trying to imagine who this.
I play weddings, bar mitzvahs, the whole thing.
I love that. You rapped at weddings.
Yeah, 100%. Weddings, everyone has a wedding gig. A wedding gig is like, is a description for anything that you're doing that you don't want to do, right? Like because you sort of have to cater it to your boss, to your boss, right?
It's not about creative control at all. It's about what they
no. And that's perfect because you're creating the perfect moment for
someone else.
for someone else, right? So when you're doing a wedding gig, it's like, listen, not everyone could say F you, F you, F you. I don't want to like work for you. You know what I mean? But now I'm at the point in my career where I can be like, no, I don't need your couple thousand. I'm turning down like things for thousands of dollars because I don't want to do it. It doesn't even matter because now I've figured out how to make money off things that I'm doing, and that it just goes up. And this Kanye song,
I would say you've sort of more than and most people figured out how to go viral. Like I feel like you literally you've got the Krusty Krab secret recipe for how to go viral.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you've just done it so many times.
Yeah. And I never did it before I got to New York.
And what's interesting to me,
was there something that you learned about going viral specifically? I mean, we need to go viral. So maybe teach me your tricks.
Well, I mean, this is just for people, you know, why do you want to go viral? You know, that's like you have to ask, like, what's the why, you know? The why for me with this. Right. Yeah.
The younger generation.
You're like, Orthodox man refuses to have kids. That would go viral. You know what I'm saying? Jewish Orthodox man gets a vasectomy. You know what I mean? Everyone's like, oh my God, you know, he's not going to have any kids. How could he do it? You know?
For our next pod?
But the thing is, when I was making the video for the Kanye stuff, you know, or let's say this, I was making the video for with Nissim Black.
Yeah.
And we were doing it for Hanukkah, and I had my guy, and we shot outside Madison Square Garden where I did the Fat Joe moment. Like I said, we were going to all the Knicks games, so we would shoot there. And Gary Vaynerchuk came out, and I got Gary V in the video.
Ears perked up, yeah.
And ears perked up, right?
Yeah.
And I know Gary V because we're from Edison. I'm from Edison. He's from Edison. And
I don't know.
My brother Zach, he bought a business lunch from him in like 2008 for like $3,000, and he like met at like a Taco Bell or something like that. And just, you know, talking about building his business and his online strength training program. And then I've rapped at Gary Vee stuff in South by Southwest. So I was one of the first rappers to ever connect with him, like when I was starting out, and he was also just more accessible. So Gary Vee jumped in the video. Right off then, I knew that footage, he put it in his Discord and he retweeted everything. So that gave it a huge boost. Plus it was on Nissim's YouTube. We dropped it the first night of Hanukkah. That went viral. Then we started like his page just really boosted up. So we got like 200,000 views in literally a week.
Is Gary V Jewish?
Gary V's Jewish.
Sure. Totally.
Gary V's Belarusian. You know, he's just, you know,
Russian.
he really speaks a lot about, you know, he keeps religion out of it, but he's like, you know, he comes from, you know, communist, but he talks about being Jewish.
Sure.
But when I was making the video, and then we also set up a billboard, there were like little key moments. And people liked it so much. I mean, the World Trade Center posted it. We did a collaboration with the World Trade Center, like official Instagram. We did a collaboration with like literally the state of Israel's Instagram posted it. You know, they wanted to say, and it was like one of the JTA's top viral articles. So,
wow.
You know, so
talk to me a little bit about, I definitely know that a lot of our audience would want to hear about this. Talk to me a little bit about your relationship with Nissim Black. Because you guys have been doing a lot of good work together.
I know
he's an
Nissim
enigma
Black.
to me.
Yeah, I've known Nissim Black since before he was D Black. I knew him before he was Jewish.
No, you did not.
Yeah.
When he was putting out those old music videos, when he was not Jewish, or he wasn't.
Yeah. He wasn't Jewish. He wasn't Jewish.
How did
I
you
knew
meet
him because during that time of like 2008, it was like Seattle was probably the most bubbling city as far as talent for hip hop.
Macklemore.
Yeah,
The only
Macklemore
other
was.
Seattle rapper I know.
I mean, Macklemore had basically the best music videos. Macklemore was doing the video about Nike sneakers. He had done like a Kickstarter. I remember him raising like almost 20 grand. Yeah, Wings.
Dude.
So Nissim we were all doing South by Southwest, which is a festival in Texas. And it's like tech and hip hop and
I don't
rock.
think I don't know if the From World knows this, that Nissim Black put out music videos and music as a non-Jewish
And it was
rapper,
amazing.
and
It was great. Yeah, he was fire.
Bars.
Yeah, and Nissim was going to get record deals and everything. I mean, he has an amazing story, but I knew him from then, and then I knew him when he was becoming Jewish, and then he was very Jewish, and I was on tour with Matisyahu. I remember seeing him on the side of the stage, actually kind of being like jealous. I'm like, oh my God, I'd be like another Jewish rapper, and because I knew him before he was Jewish, so to me it was just drippy. You know,
You're
what I
like,
mean?
get out of my lane.
There's only room for, just so dumb, but it was a huge tour. It was like Matisyahu and Revolution, and it was like maybe like
Shit.
8,000 people in Seattle. You know, every show was like, and I was just doing. I had one song with Matisyahu called "Dodging Bullets," which was about fighting anti-Semitism, of course, and like anti-Israel shit. But like, I knew him then, and somehow just connected with his manager, and we were just we were cool, and we're like, yeah, let's just do a Hanukkah song. And let's remix Adam Sandler's, and I produced a whole video. I produced it. I kind of directed it. I got everyone together. We just ran around the city, and Nissim flew in from Israel
to make that video.
to make the video.
Right, he lives
and
full time in Israel.
When was this?
Yeah. We literally shot it on Thanksgiving, and it was Hanukkah like the next day. My guy flipped the video. We put it out.
In a night?
Yeah. Both times on both of my viral videos of songs, my boy Matt Levine, who also is just an amazing director. Shout out to him. We shot it, flipped it within 24 hours. I mean, literally, he flipped the Kanye video in 12 hours.
Wait, your response, Kanye, was so quick.
Yeah, because that's
You have to be.
you
quick.
have to be quick because
It's quick, but then there's
I
like,
could have maybe
one
made the
day.
song better, or like, oh, you could have said this about Kanye,
Right.
or this about Candace, or this about whatever.
but it's like,
right?
nah, you got to get it out.
It doesn't
You gotta push.
even matter.
Mhm.
The fact that something even exists
Right.
is crazy. So you got to think. A big thing that I've always been infatuated with is being the only person to do something.
Or first to the punch.
Yes. So I rapped in Spanish and Hebrew on the BET Awards in the BET Cypher. The only other Jewish rapper there was Mac Miller. I rapped. I was the first guy, to go tour with Matisyahu and get on the Billboard charts when he was touring with 311, like, because I was selling all my CDs handing. We were like, let's go chart on Billboard. How are we going to do that? We have to sell 1,500 CDs the first week with Kickstarter and hand-to-hand selling 100 CDs each show, and there's 10,000 people at each show. So we're figuring out how to do it. And just being the first person to do something is very press-worthy and very like a reason is someone would want to click, because it's hard to cut through the noise. You know what I mean? It's like, let's say you're looking to a rabbi, right? Everyone does Shabbat, but like this Shabbat is like, oh, it's Halloween Shabbat, it's costume Shabbat or something like that. Or it's like Moulin Rouge Shabbat. You're like, oh, I like Moulin Rouge Shabbat. Or you're like, oh, this Shabbat is Titanic Shabbat. And everyone
What's
dresses
Titanic
up.
Shabbat? Of course.
I don't know. Like
a lot of
if
ice desserts. Like,
yeah. And like the person at the head of the table is like looking ahead and you're like, iceberg straight ahead. I don't know.
oh my God.
But you think about things that you see and you're going to go like, oh, I want to go to a Shabbat dinner. And you're looking through and you're like, oh, Titanic Shabbat. Like, let's, you know what I mean? Like, let's go to that. That sounds way cooler. Bald Fest. You saw, I did
Yeah,
Bald Fest.
yeah.
That
2
went,
years running.
yeah, Bald Fest.
What is Bald Fest?
Yeah, explain to us what Bald Fest is.
Bald Fest is a festival for bald people. I did, that was
I'll
another
be
thing I
joining y'all
did.
soon.
That is unbelievable.
As
Where does
we're
this take place?
in Brooklyn, but I mean
Bushwick.
it's a worldwide you honestly.
Yeah.
you could
But how
zoom
many
in.
people actually show up to this?
Thousands.
Are you only able to show up if you're bald?
No.
Oh, so I can
Anyone's
show up
there.
also.
You could show up, yeah.
Is it like
Uh,
support
you could
the
be
bald
an
community?
Yeah, you could be an ally.
Well, I am the bald community.
So
I am an ally, by the way.
Connie Lisbon played it. Connie Lisbon
Yes, she
played
did,
it.
yeah.
'Cause-
She used to be bald. She
Mhm.
talked about it on our pod.
yeah.
Oh, yes.
And,
Alopecia, yes.
Alopecia.
so the
Shout out Jada Pinkett Smith.
shout out Connie Lisbon. Yeah.
No, I told her actually on the pod that, just shout out to her. I did tell her on the pod that like her staying sober throughout the like 3 times she had alopecia is one of the most amazing things I've
Yeah,
heard.
crazy inspirational.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
She great comic, great person, and also just in general, like we have like this Bald Fest community, so she's part of it. She played this year too. But the Bald Fest, because I started doing things on holidays. So there's another New York thing I did. So there was like National Bagel Day, National Pizza Day, National Bagel Day. I made a song about bagels, which kind of went viral.
Did you
but
film that by Greenberg's in Bed-Stuy?
Greenberg's, yeah, a bunch of places.
Bunch of places.
Mhm. And that's the thing, because America has like all these holidays that aren't holidays.
They have
So-
national holiday for every single day. If you look up on any single day, there's 8 to 10 national holidays just for that day for anything. It could be for anything. It could be a national nose hair.
There's like National, Nose Hair Day, National Boyfriend Day, National Pizza Day, National Bagel Day, and there's also
I don't
National
have any
Be
of those
Bald and
things.
Be Proud Day.
Oh, yeah.
And there's 2 national bald holidays. So
Yo, you guys are getting kind of greedy. Don't you think?
too.
There's one Juneteenth, but you guys need 2.
yeah. So yeah, and I wanted to make a an Instagram page, and like every aspect of the, instead of it saying, the anti-Semitic flyers are like every aspect of the Jewish media is Jewish, and it's like every aspect of the music business is bald, like Pitbull, The Rock, everyone at
Bald
media.
people really control the media.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Bald people. Pitbull controls the music industry.
Does
Obviously.
he really? Is
The
that,
Rock
like,
controls the label. Gosh.
I don't know any of these things. I thought you. No, I was like, I thought you were being serious for a second. I'm like, what? Like, everyone.
The Rock controls, the film industry.
I mean, that one's
Jeff,
That's kind of true.
Wait, Jeff Bezos controls
everything.
e-commerce.
Yeah, Jeff Bezos controls all e-commerce. Moby controls the vegan food industry. And
Elon Musk would have been in the bald community. I don't know if you saw pictures of him from the 90s.
He was bald.
He was right on his way. Then he got, that billionaire hair plug. That just like gorgeous hair plug.
Porno hair plug.
Yeah. He got the Dane Portnoy special.
and who is it? The Interceptor controls the security business. That guy, the other Jason Statham.
Yeah.
So listen, I mean, that's the reality is bald people control the world. So,
What would you say you're more proud of, your Jewish identity or your bald identity?
Oh, it's an amazing question. I think and there's intersectionality there.
That's great.
Hey, with the
now, by the way, you
fire,
can,
keep
you
us.
can make the. I don't know if you're comfortable with the way the headphones are right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are these custom? Because sometimes you show up rocking a
Yeah.
keep I've never seen in my life.
Oh yeah. This is a custom keep.
Show us what you got.
Let's
see it.
It's from. Check it out. It's called 7-7. It's like it's all done. They have matching bags.
Wait, 7-7 with no zero? No 7-7?
OV. Yeah, they're from Canada, and they're just designers. Actually,
No, it says 7-7D. Oh, it's an O. Okay.
7-7 OV.
This
yeah.
is insane. It's heavy
Yeah,
too.
it's
Wow,
like a
this is
really.
really,
That's like a designer.
That's a
keep.
No, it's a
crown.
designer
Check
keep.
this out, guys.
Yeah.
That's like the Gucci of
Oh,
keep.
this is
heavy.
It's like a crown.
Yeah.
That's actually
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, can I try? I
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
I want to
put
get
it
some of
on.
your. Will this make me a better rapper?
Yeah, it's sort of like your Samson. Yeah, it's super fire.
You're actually the feminist woman love him.
Oh man.
Can I ask you a question? Actually, you mentioned, if you're not comfortable talking about this, no problem. But you mentioned jail a few times. So I'm actually super curious about that because, yeah, I think that's a curious topic. I've never been to jail, so I'm curious to hear about that.
So yeah, I was really, at a time, I really loved how I'm so diehard now about music stuff or recovery things. When I was, addicted. You hear that buzzing, by the way? I don't know what that is. Okay, maybe it's something else.
They come in the headphones
Go get from the headphones.
Oh, really?
because there's no bus.
So basically, I went to jail on like my first offense because I guess I sold ecstasy, so that was sort of my thing. I was a really big ecstasy guy.
I think you should get rewarded for selling ecstasy.
So not within the frum community, no way. So I went to jail, and then I started writing, and I was just really I wasn't into anything Jewish, and then I saw a bunch of people going to see like priests, and they were getting out of like the pod, or that we were in like the block area that we're in. It's like the east this or west that.
What city was this in?
It was in Toms River, New Jersey. Yep. So I was supposed to do 5 years, and then I ended up getting like 9 months. I don't know how I pled guilty, said something less, and then
Sure.
and it was the kind of first offense for a small amount of drugs. So when I went there, like some of the best friends that I had made were like very devout. They were into Christians, and they had this thing called
Born again.
Yeah, whatever. Maybe I don't understand how you're born again, but anyways, that's what I think it was called. And they had this thing called the Daily Bread, which is basically like daily reflections, and it was sort of inspiring quotes, but maybe it was from the New Testament. It would be like John 3:16, whatever. I'm unfamiliar with that, but also some Old Testament stuff too, and just just good living.
Yeah.
And people started seeing, it was either not priests but pastors, I would say, and I'm like, religious discrimination. I demand to see a rabbi. Like I didn't care anything about being Jewish. Like I said, I really liked being like the Israeli dude and the drug dealer,
Right.
And and that's sort of, I started getting it. And there's one guy named Smitty. He'd be like, you better fast for Yom Kippur. Rami, you got to fast for Yom Kippur. So he was always on me. And yeah, fasted for Yom Kippur in jail and stuff.
So you kind of found religion in jail, like a lot of people do.
Like religion, but then it came out, and then I think I started going to the Hallels when I got back, and then I started selling drugs, and I wasn't just drinking. So then by the time I went back to jail, the girlfriend that I had broke up with me, and I had like 6 months left, and it was really like a real spiritual bottom for me. I was just cruising down low, and I was just really being reckless with like everything I was doing. I was sort of trying to get caught. So, cause this was at the age of 22, before I turned 23. And, you know, my last moment before I got arrested, I was in a sting operation where I was very, I would say, I was very, I would even say like, just I was as a prejudice and didn't trust anybody. And I was like selling drugs with all different kinds of groups of people. And I was like wearing a yarmulke, like transferring drugs through like Highland Park, New Jersey. And then I was like selling drugs with all these Indian dudes. And I'm like, the Indian guys will never get caught. And the black guy wouldn't rat out on me. And the white person wouldn't do this. And all my like theories of everything all were wrong. And like, I got arrested, and that guy ratted me out that I never thought would, and all the Indian guys got caught, and I was just like, man, this is so trippy. So realized that everything I was doing was completely fake, you know, because my perspective on everything was just wrong. The only perspective I had that was right was that like I needed help, you know what I mean? And I was like, I need to get caught or go back to meetings, and that was
Like
sort
a
of
cry for help in a way.
I was
yeah.
really gonna ask that. Are you a big AA guy?
I wouldn't say what fellowship or anything, but I've done like, you know, 12 steps, and I've been in recovery for, you know, 18 plus years. So
Straight.
yeah, straight. Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
that's huge.
Straight. No,
We had
no weekends.
yesterday's pod. We filmed with a fascinating guy. He's an addiction specialist. We had
An addiction specialist or an
Addiction-
addiction? Okay.
addictions.
I wasn't sure if it was
Addiction.
math or, you know,
Yeah,
get
he
labeled.
helps. He
Excited.
runs
He's like, I know math.
It's great.
He runs a drop-in center, and so
Mm.
we even just yesterday we were having like a really in-depth conversation about like where he has some pretty like staunch opinions on what he thinks addiction is, where it comes from. And you listen to him when we posted. It was
But
a
like
fascinating conversation.
good opinions in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah,
And labels humble opinion.
No,
great
I
opinion.
think Zach would say the same thing. I thought it was fascinating, and
It was
he's a
fascinating.
very intelligent fella.
yeah.
Yeah, and then I went back to jail again.
How many
Um,
times?
3 times. That's
Yeah, I was
I'm
up 3
counting.
times. Well, yeah, and then I like went from
You're officially harder than who was that guy? Convict Music.
Akon.
Akon. He named his music Convict Music. He went to jail once for I think it was a car. It was Grand
Really?
Theft Auto. Yeah.
That's cool.
So
I
you're-
stole a car once.
Oh, you're
Legit?
way harder than Akon.
It wasn't really like I don't even consider, but it's so funny how you consider like what people consider stealing. You know?
What's the story?
What does that mean?
Either stole it,
You
either
borrowed it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. To me, I thought, you know, I was high and I was like, oh, there's keys in the car. Like, just take this person's car.
Yeah, they were practically
you
asking
bring
you
it-
to drive it.
Did you bring it back?
No,
No, you just drove it.
I just throw it somewhere else. But it wasn't like, you know. But I think like when you're high and when you're really on a wrong path,
Yeah.
you rationalize things that are actually there's like good in all the bad you do. Does that make sense?
So great.
Yeah.
That's actually a great line.
There's like,
It's like the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
yes, exactly. So you're like,
Right.
I'm not necessarily hot wiring this car. I'm just borrowing it and putting it over here. And then it's like, and I had done things like that. And this is just a
Is hot
side note.
wiring, sorry to interrupt you. Is hot wiring a car a real thing?
I mean, I want to say, Layla, have you ever stolen a car? No, but I never hot wired a car. I just, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have. I'm not a guy that hot wires
You
cars.
see it in the movies, and I don't know. I've always people are like nowadays you can't hot wire a car, or it's not really real. So I've never known.
He's like, all my friends on this show only do white collar crime.
yeah.
I was gonna say when Label said he's never to jail, I'm like, give it some
The
thought.
truth is, I lied. Can I just admit this? I actually lied. I
They
was
went
in
to
jail
jail
for one
once.
night, but it wasn't real hardcore jail. I got caught with I used to be a little bit of a reckless driver, classic. No one's probably surprised. But I got pulled over and I had to suspend the license because I didn't pay a speeding ticket or something a year prior. You have like the assessments for anyone who's gotten moving violations. You'll know what I'm talking about. And I gave it to an attorney to deal with, and he didn't pay the assessment, and your license gets suspended. And if you're caught with a suspended license, they cuff you and bring you to
Really?
precinct for a night. Yeah.
So you did that.
It
Mm.
was at 1 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, I
You-
didn't get out till 7.
You got to drop some bars about that. When's the album coming? Like, that's some
Dude,
street
a hard
shit.
time.
Yeah.
Wow. So, yeah, man. And that's essentially like, that was the last time I was in jail was in 2004, and you had to go, in, you know, I think I was like coming from probation. So I was like really trying to get, and this is, I said, I was like, it was just at that point where I was just like, I need help. It was like, it was really, really, really bad. I was doing like double two a nights, which is basically when you're high, let's say at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. and you're on drugs and you're on a bunch of uppers and you're like, I could just stay up all the next day and then go to bed at a normal time, like at 11 the next night. So I'll stay up for, 36 to 48 hours versus, staying up for 30 hours and trying to go to bed at like 7 a.m. or something like that.
Yeah.
And that was and that was it, man. I was just basically done. And, I was trying to stay out of, because I got in a sting operation where people set me up and I was running away from police and I had all kinds of drugs on me and I got caught.
You really lived that street life.
Yeah.
You really did.
You're not like fake hardcore. You're legit hardcore.
Well, I mean, I like to be hardcore without that, but I think, but like, because I came from wrestling, I was very intense. So even before that, I was like yo-yo dieting, like trying to lose 9 pounds in a day. I mean, I just come from extreme actions, that was just thing. The first time I ever got
You've always
drunk.
been a projects guy. Just some of your earlier projects were drugs, but
Yeah. It was
still a project
little
guy.
event. Yeah,
you went from going in and out of jail to going in and out of viral fame on Instagram.
Yeah, and
It's a lot healthier.
I'm excited for my next little project, which is the marathon. I'm raising money for Holocaust survivors. I'm
Beautiful,
like
man.
excited.
How much could we donate? Are we allowed to?
Yeah, you could definitely donate. I
Well,
thought you were
we'll
going to say
link
how
to
much did you make?
No, bro, we'll link
Well,
it. We'll link to it. We'll link to it.
Well, I'm trying to raise, it's interesting because I never really did stuff for other people. This is like a new thing. It's like a new project where I'm like, oh, I'm going to be a person of service this year.
How does that feel?
It's nice. It's a good question. How does it make you feel? You know what I mean? It makes me feel good, but because it makes other people happy, because other people are also looking to be more giving. Like, I think this is for everybody. They're like, I want to do something, and giving money is sort of the easiest way of doing service. It's like listening to your friend, or, you know what I mean? Or anything, like someone's going through something, you got to show up for your friend, or you're going to help a person move, or, giving money to a good cause is easy because it's like you're doing your regular day and you could just give money,
So how much money are you looking to raise?
Just a couple thousand. I'm like at 1,000. I think I only raised like 1,500, but it's just something I'm down to do. Like Bald Fest, we have a sponsor now.
Wait,
And
who's sponsoring
I love that we
Belfast?
just equated it.
smooth head care, but like the money we make at the door goes to Blue Card. It's for Blue Card. It's it raises money for Holocaust survivors in need. Basically,
Dude, I love that. You're like using your talents to like actually make a difference.
yeah. Well, honestly, I think when you're more giving to other people, you're just going to receive more yourself, and not that that's a selfish motive, but it's just the practice.
It's a cherry on top.
It's honestly like just a good way to live. Like, I have a little tzedakah box in my house, a tzedakah box.
Bucks.
A
Bucks.
That's
tzedakah
extra
box.
yeshivish. I mean,
Yeah.
Tzedakah books.
And I got it, and I'm like, I don't even know, you know what I mean? But I just always putting change in it. I'm just always like saving stuff. I'm like, I'll just, put a couple things in here today. And it's just a good way to live. I don't know. It's just something like, because I fall short on a lot of days. So this is a good way to do it. And living the life of like, I'm a creator and trying to go viral and trying to get more notoriety is very taxing on your mental. It's very taxing on your spirit, because you're relying on the support of other people to make you feel good about your work, which will earn you income, which really shouldn't have any control on how good it is. Like, you're just as good if you get 100 views versus 100,000.
Say it again.
I'll say it again.
Quality. Say it again, yeah.
But if you're just as good at 100 views if you do 100,000. And like the other day, I did this Kanye thing, and it really got the internet talking. There's thousands of comments. And then I rapped as a bunny rabbit on a train, which is something I did for like my soul, as a 41-year-old man rapping in a bunny suit on Halloween. But I did that for my soul. You know what I'm saying?
You did that
It's
for
like,
your inner child.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, my
You're
inner
just out
child,
here having
right.
fun still.
Yeah, I'm just trying to have fun, man.
You're out here in your 40s having fun. More fun than most people.
I'm in the best shape of my life at 41. I'm way better in shape than I was at 31. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm literally, I reshifted my whole thing. So, but I'll hopefully live an extra 10 years.
I'm mad stoked right now. I might go get a bunny suit. Like, I'm feeling stoked.
Can I ask you a question? How did you finally manage to put an end to the drugs in 2005? Like, you went to prison 3 times. What was like the nail? Was it 12 steps? What ended?
Yeah, well, I went to rehab, and also I was going to go to prison if I tested positive again because I had like a 4-year probation thing. So then you go do a 4 flat, which is like basically you're sentenced to 4 years in prison. But then it's real, like if you get a flat, that means like the only way you could get out is if it's like super tight restrictions, which is ultimately set up for you to fail, like a drug court, which is like you're testing all the time. You're always testing, and if you test positive, I mean, you could literally test positive for eating poppy seed bagels. Or everything bagels, and it's true. Like
Jokes about that.
That's a Seinfeld episode that he.
Oh.
Yeah, no.
Elaine wants to go overseas, and she keeps on testing positive for opium.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Why?" And she's like, "I don't get it." And she's eating poppy seed bagels all day.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's happened.
Most Jewish thing I've ever heard.
I think it happened to me. I think it might have happened to me once. Because it was always like a thing. And, you know, I used to like, you know, eat all those just to try to eat all the pills that make you test clean and stuff. And that was like from 18 to 22, almost 23, I was taking urine tests till honestly 25 and I was on.
You've peed in quite a few cups in your day is what we're saying.
Yeah.
Damn.
I said a rap line. It was something like, I'm on a gene back in the day when I had to pee in a cup. Something. You know, it's just a good segue into rapping.
Did you know, like before you started rapping in 05, right? You were how old? 25? 26?
Yeah, but I mean, I was rapping since the late 90s. I was rapping
That's what
as
I'm
a teenager.
asking. So, got it. And so why didn't you try making it a career at that point, like when you were 17?
My main goal, what I ever remember was, I remember a couple key moments in rap, like for me. One was, so the guy who taught me how to rap and that I used to rap was named Yak Balls. He was this Persian kid that would come down from the weekend. He was winning all these battles, really popular rapper. And so I was like Kosha Dillz, you know, obviously my name is like a euphemism. So it's Kosha Dill, Yak Ball, you know what I mean? There's a connection, right? You're 17. Yeah. And then I changed it to KD Flow because I didn't really like the Jewish aspect of it. And I was just into battles. I really didn't want, and like I said, I really was really detached from my Jewishness. Just being Israeli was like my thing.
Was enough, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then I don't know if anyone understands that, but I think you probably could understand that, you know. And then when the Jewishness aspect came back and I got clean, I released the record. I recorded these records during the time of my early recovery, my first year. And most of the songs were recorded when I was selling drugs. So it was like, I was still talking about being KD. I mean, on the Matzah for Your Mouth record label. I pressed that up, and my main goal was to release a record, a vinyl record, you know what I mean? And then I just got into hustling it. Like I was like calling up record stores and distribution companies. I sold like 30 records to this big place called hiphopvinyl.de in Germany. They picked up 30 records. And this stuff is just...
This is something I wanted to... I'm glad you brought this up because in our conversations, you've said this over and over again. And it's something for like all the creators out there to keep in mind. You make your own luck. Like you're not just a creator. You are a businessman. And I know that like you're a fantastic rapper and you're putting out all this quality content, but I also know you're the one sending out the emails like to like different news sources and Vice and this and that. Like you got to hustle out your own stuff. You can't wait for them to pick it up sometimes.
Right.
Till a point.
Like,
up to a point.
Like I finally started building a team just recently. Like I got a lawyer, you know, got a business manager.
Every good rapper needs a lawyer.
Yeah, no, but I mean, you just need people to negotiate for you that aren't you, that are with the super professional emails.
You got to
like,
watch out. There's a lot of Jews who are ruining people's contracts.
Oh my God.
They're all probably all.
You got to read your contracts.
Listen. I mean, they're obviously Label's lawyer didn't take care of his. He got him in jail for a night.
Yeah, that was a problem.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Label fired him the next day.
That was a problem.
So the thing is, I still hire people. I hired a PR person just for this recent project with the DEFCON 3 song. But a lot of it was me still working. You still have to manage it. But now I have people that, send out the emails to institutions and saying, hey, Kosha Dillz provides these programs. I got speaker programs. I'm always coming up with things. I'm coming up with programs that I've never even done, just to see people book them. I have something called the History of Jews in Rap, which is going through like Beastie Boys to any, from Mazik to Mazik's the guy from Blood of Abraham. This is the guy that Eazy-E signed.
This is the first name you've mentioned, like in hip hop, I don't recognize.
Oh yeah, no, you got to check it out. Mazik from Blood of Abraham, and now he worked for will.i.am, and he's a creative director. But these are people that, like if you go through the History of Jews in Rap, from them to Mac Miller to Lil Dicky, and just, how people use Jewishness in their records, and just how people that aren't Jewish use Jewishness in the records.
There's been a few songs in recent years.
But this is like a really just an interesting discussion. And like I
Yeah.
said, if you have programs like this, people will be really interested in coming to it.
I
And
think that hip hop and Judaism makes an understandable connection because
Mhm.
what's hip hop at its core is it's struggle music,
Right.
right? That's how it was struggle music. Jews, we know a thing or two about struggle.
Yeah.
We know a thing or two about it. So it makes sense that those two cultures, like there's a lot of common threads.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? What has been the response regarding the Kanye video regarding the anti-Semitic perspective? And
How is
Has
the
it been
anti-Semite
positive?
community?
no, has it been,
How is the Semite community doing?
has it been positive, negative? What's happened with
Is it
that?
alive? In
The interesting thing is, there's and this is the thing that this is why it really went. And, we were talking about virality and why a song resonates with people is because anti-Semitism at its core is such a powerful demon that it separates anti-Semites on this side of the spectrum from a right wing to a left wing to new facets of, Black nationalism that have been taught that is one good for, being proud of their in their community, but also somehow anti-Semitism seeping into that community to overseas anti-Semitism in like France and people being interested of what this new thing is, to Jewish people being impartial of it and not wanting to be around it, and they're so intimidated by anti-Semitism they refuse to talk about it, yet they still want to share it privately. So I'm getting a vast array of messages from Jewish people that don't like me now, from Jewish people that are very proud, from people in the music industry that think I should have done it a different way and the way I did it was wrong, but yet they never responded to me about any of my music in the first place, to other people who said, I finally get it, to the big share of it being from the anti-Semite community, saying, look, these fake Jews, look at them. And they're the ones who are making it go crazy. And then
They're literally making it viral.
they're making it viral. And then Jewish people are like, oh no, you can't do that to our guy. And these people have never supported me before, but they're like, no, you can't do that to our guy. And that's the thing, like when someone, I'm not your best friend label, but if someone hits you, I would all of a sudden you can't do that to him. I mean, I don't even like this guy so much, but now, you know what I mean? Now I'm going to stick up for him. And that's sort of this weird dichotomy it's this weird dichotomy when you're touching this topic on that 50.72 percentile of what this is. Is this hate? And, I'm wearing tefillin, wrapping it in front of 770. I mean, this is making some people being like, this isn't right. You're going to make more people hate me. And I knew that how I shot the video was going to be something for me, because I felt like if I didn't do something, I would feel like a wussy. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, honestly, let me use the correct word, I feel like a pussy, right? And basically, Jews are perceived as weak people, especially Ashkenazi Jews, especially
outside of Israel. Yeah.
Outside of Israel, yes. But we need to remember that half the Jews live here and half the Jews live in Israel, and maybe 1 million are, or 1 to 2 million are outside, from Canada to Brazil to France, etc. And maybe that's the wrong number.
This is also a really good point, is like, if you're not Jewish, you don't have a say in how a Jew responds to anti-Semitism.
Mhm.
Like, you don't get, that is not your conversation to have. And
100% facts.
And like, people, I know people who are like, oh, he's just doing that because like, it's a good opportunity for him. It's like, first of all, yeah, it's a good opportunity for you. Second of all, shut the fuck up. Like,
Exactly.
shut the fuck up. Like, it's, we have one of the most famous people on planet Earth saying super dangerous dog whistles to anti-Semitism. His comments, Kanye West's Instagram comments are flooded with people who are Team Kanye, and now Team Kanye means anti-Jew.
Yeah.
We can respond any way we want.
And it's already, but just before you go, Label, I would say that the very interesting thing is people who have never said anything all of a sudden have an opinion of what I should do. And I've been doing this for a very long time to get some eyes on me. And I just made another video and put it out the next day, just like all my videos. It was another thing I did, just like rapping at the dreidel, just like rapping on the train as a bunny rabbit, just as rapping is here in a snowstorm. It's something I did.
You're an artist. You responded with art.
I want to echo two things. Number one is that the way it always is that the people on the sidelines doing nothing like to criticize the most.
Exactly.
That's just a rule of life. And even with this podcast, we have a lot of people that are haters, but at the same time, they would never create a podcast and share their opinions with the world or anything with the world for that matter, because they're too scared to actually do it. So that's a rule in life in general. But there was another thing I wanted to ask you on this topic. Yeah, my boss, Aaron Youngrice, shout out Aaron. In my opinion, huge Kiddush Hashem. He took out 8 seats courtside.
That was your boss?
Yes, correct.
Let's talk
You
about
didn't
it.
realize that was Aaron? Yes. That was Aaron Youngrice.
No, I didn't. I know. I knew it was Aaron. I didn't know Aaron was your boss.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he went
he's
super
the
far
owner
with
of
that.
Rosewood.
Yeah, it's got 8.
Like I speak to him pretty much not every day, but I could. I'm saying
I feel like Rami, you got opinions
there are
on this?
months that I speak to him every day,
Yeah.
especially we're working on a deal together.
Right.
And I was looking at the comments. Aaron happens to be a super proud Jew, like someone that is very, very proud of his heritage. So I wasn't as shocked when I saw it. Still takes a level of balls to do it, honestly, because that's guaranteed virality and the whole world is gonna, be talking about it. But I was looking at the comments underneath all of the posts, Instagram and everyone, you go to the comment section. That's always the funnest part typically. It wasn't fun. It was actually scary. And the top comments were all super anti-Semitic. Super. It was like, it was
100%.
nuts actually. And I was like, anti-Semitism's alive and cooking. Like, it's not even a joke.
I'll even say this: anti-Semitism is a virus, right? And we're
Yeah.
talking about virality, right? Okay,
Yeah.
so let's comment there, right? So a big thing in virality is that everyone wants clout.
Yeah.
Literally everyone wants clout. I have literally a video of me rapping with one of the guys of the Migos, rest in peace to Takeoff, and there's a Jewish kid. He's like, oh my God, says something literally about clout. And he's like, and the guy starts rapping with me. If you go to Team Kanye, which is anti-Semitic, they're doing it for clout, because being on Team Kanye is a clout chase in itself, because if you drop a comment, you're getting so many likes.
Mhm.
And everyone gets a vibe off likes. I don't care if you're anti-internet. That's why people are off the internet, so they don't have to deal with getting the likes.
Yeah.
It's a dopamine hit.
So it's not about Kanye, you know what I'm saying? It's about him unleashing things. And like I said, it even affects the Jewish people from policing other Jewish people in telling them what is anti-Semitism and what it affects and what it doesn't affect. But someone, Rosenberg, just said on like a podcast, someone sent to me, and Peter Rosenberg's the Jewish guy of Hot 97. They literally advertised the show, a Black, a Puerto Rican, and a Jew, right? That's the branding of the show. And the Black guy, Ebro, is also Jewish, actually, he's a Black Jew. And they have various great opinions on stuff. And I think everyone's a great representative, because you can't police someone's Jewishness. Like, I think that's really something that you can't police someone's Jewishness, because it's hypocritical, because everyone has their own journey within their own Jewish story. Like I said, when I started out, I was only doing it out of spite. You know what I mean? I went from seeing people in jail, seeing a pastor, to being like, oh, I need to see a rabbi. I don't want to see a rabbi. You know what I mean? And
I love that your religious journey started with like, no, fuck that.
Yeah. And then not knowing that Matisyahu's wife wouldn't shake my hand. I'm like, what's wrong with them? When someone asked me, are you from? I said, from where? You know, and I went to yeshiva to get $1,000 to study at Aish. I didn't really I just want to move out of my house. You know what I mean? I didn't.
This is so gold.
So when someone says like, oh, I didn't sign up to be a freedom fighter for Jews, but like my brother Alon, Israeli Special Forces, teaches like Orthodox Jews how to fight. My other brother won Mr. Israel, and doesn't care anything about religion. You know what I mean? And he hates it, and it probably separates my family. because my brother is a crazy religious dude, and my other brother is a crazy non-religious guy. Yeah, and I understand. Like I don't really like religion. I like being a Jew, like to my heart. You see what I'm saying? To like boom, 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 like you hear right here. I want the beef. I want the smoke. Like I want to be courtside with your boss, being like, yo, what's up, Kyrie? You see my diss? Yeah, I'm making one about you too. Like what are you going to do about it? And then I'll make a song about being in love, and I'll make a song about being bald. You know what I'm saying? I don't care, because you don't write my checks and you don't make my bread, and you're not going to tell me how I'm going to do my life. You know what I'm saying? So if I feel like putting on tefillin in front of 770, I'll do it. And if I feel like rapping in front of a bunch of Black Israelites, being like, yeah, Ashkenazi Jews, whatever, run the world, and I sell pretzel, I really care less. I really care less, because for me, it's about getting out of being a bitch. And I think that's like a curse within our own Jewishness, is that we judge so many other people within our community. This is a new thing after the Holocaust. What went into the Reform and the Conservative and the Orthodox, and where have all of a sudden you guys become better than the next person? I don't really care if you marry non-Jewish or Jew. You know what I mean? That to me, that doesn't mean anything. But if you say something right about, and I have the opportunity to make creative art as a rapper who has put in so much work, who's rapping out in rainstorms and streets and rapping as Moses with Takeoff from the Migos, right? Before not even knowing who he is, you know what I mean? Just really putting myself out there. You can't tell somebody how to represent. You really can't. You know what I'm saying? Because everyone has their own journey. And dude, I'm on Wild and Out, which was canceled for the same anti-Semitic rhetoric that Kanye was canceled for. And I literally saw my boss, you know what I mean, hugging Kanye West. And that's why I have a line. And you're talking about the comment section. I want to say this. So in the second verse, I go, I'm not a manager, bro. My boss is black. I got a sick cannon for every asshole talking back. That's a line about Nick Cannon.
Yeah.
And I'm not emo, but I need a lot of blessings. Think you got hate, bro? You should see the comment section. Call me fake Hebrew, blame for living life. Rabbi Heschel, MLK, March 54 for civil rights. So basically I'm saying, you know, black and Jewish people have had very similar struggles as far as marching together against hate. Yet somehow in this new world, I said, think you got hate, bro? You should see the comment section. In the music video, I have comments of hate popping up. And then the ironic thing is, look at the comment section of my video. Look at the comment section of your video. You literally said the comment section.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's not Kyrie Irving. It's not Kanye West. It's people of power that open the floodgates and say, you know what? It is okay, right? Just by leaving that crack of the door open, like the ants and the bugs are just, they want to crawl through. You see what I'm saying? And go.
Can you just expound on that a little bit more? In the sense that when you say it's not Kyrie Irving, it's not Kanye West, it's people in power. What do you mean by that?
It's people with stature in pop culture. Kyrie Irving, Kanye West, could be anybody, right? That gives a cosign to the people that have 20 followers on the internet, right? 500 followers, 300 followers, right?
Right.
The people with no followers that all have these broad ideas, you know, they don't have a platform. And now they get to go in that comment section and they get to comment 109 countries, 6
And also
million
they get clout.
and then they get their 300 likes and then they feel that they're heard. They feel that they found their community. You know what I'm saying?
I've been thinking about this myself.
So
I'm
well
not
said.
sure. A lot of these people, I'm not excusing their behavior at all. Don't write anti-Semitic shit on the internet, but I don't even think a lot of them hate Jews. I think a lot of them see that it's trending and they're like, oh, I'll hop on the trend because I want that dopamine.
That's why.
And that's not an excuse.
That's why
I
anti-Semitism.
think real dying-the-wool anti-Semitism is rare. I think what we have is a lot of bitches out in the world who just want a little bit of clout, and it's popular and it's fun. It's kind of like being an edgelord. It's like when white kids will say racist shit. They don't actually hate black people. It's just
they won't do anything in life. But if you think about the attacks in Jersey City, right, where, you know, that was just one of those guys, because it's like Farrakhan's not saying go attack the Jews, you know what I mean? He's not saying get up in arms and fight everybody in Crown Heights. But there's people at home that, you know, take these ideas and they stir it up, and those are the people that are attacking.
And that's why it's really wrong, because
the people
maybe
that
you won't do something, but there is some crazy dude living in his mom's basement.
This is the reason why I'm not even that Jewish, right? Because we're all the same Jewish, right? Whether you're, and I really say this, whether your father's Jew, if you identify as it, because that's what we get to do. The reason why I wear a yarmulke on Wild and Out is because no one would know Kosha Dillz is even a Jewish reference unless you're maybe from New York. They don't understand what Kosha Dillz is overseas. So I wear the swaggy yarmulke, this joint, and I have Wild and Out yarmulkes, and I make it cool because this is what I understand. Like, this is a great opportunity to extend the conversation about anti-Semitism. So if that's the clout that I'm looking for, to be part of a conversation and say, listen, you know, the first people that get attacked aren't going to be the people that are just, you know, hipsters on a bike. You know what I mean? They're going to be people that are
wearing kippahs.
Yeah. That's what's going to be. You know what I mean? So I'm happy to be part of the conversation and just, you know, be the person that did it creatively. Because there's plenty of people on podcasts, plenty of people on radio. I'm not trying to be a freedom fighter, but I'm also not trying to be hypocritical. It's just like, yo, I thought it was a great opportunity to stick up for people. It's not my whole thing. And
We're happy
and
to have you fighting for it.
That's it, dude. I'm just like saying what someone said this, and I'll just end with this is like, thank you for being a voice for a lot of us who are thinking the same thing, but we don't have the platform to express it. Well, I know that if I could put something out, I know creatively I'm going to make this go. And, I did Good Morning Britain. You know what I mean? So it's like they came to my backyard in New York and filmed me while the same person from France filmed me about Bald Fest. So like they were back to back and it was just two different things. And I was like, this is awesome on a creative level that I could do so much different stuff while still, I don't know, doing stuff that feeds my heart. Because Bald Fest feeds my heart just as fighting anti-Semitism feeds my heart too, So
I love that. It's actually
Bald Fest is, I'm still enthralled by it. Like, I'm so enthralled by this idea that we just like, we're championing the bald community. Just, it's amazing. I love it.
one other thing.
I think we got to wrap up.
mm-hmm.
Do we have to wrap? Can I ask one more question?
Yeah, you go around.
It sounds like you have a relationship with Matisyahu, right?
Yes.
So I'm actually curious about his journey because I know, like, obviously, he wasn't religious at all. Then he became, he went to Chabad, became super religious, and now he's obviously not. He seems like a fascinating human being to me.
He is fascinating.
Yeah, like obviously beyond talented. And I was just curious, like, about his journey. I don't know if you're comfortable sharing anything, but
I know when I first met him, it was 2004. And then I remember going to a show when the first show when he shaved his beard. Then I also remember being with him in Europe after he had people protest his show and he went viral to get him to sign. It was at a reggae festival and then I saw people with massive Palestinian flags waving them in the front row at places and trying to build pyramids to like literally like pyramid protests and me going in the crowd in Germany and stuff. And I've been with him in Nazi Air Force fields and him rapping to fill in, you know what I mean? We've had a long journey together. I've done 3 songs with him since I've met him, you know what I mean?
really like the song off your new album with him.
Yeah, we did 4 Other Ones, we did Dodging Bullets, and we also did a song called Childhood with this dude C-Rays. And yeah, man, it's all on the internet. But I mean, if you really want to know about Matisyahu, you should get him on the podcast.
yeah,
We're working
that
on
was my next question.
Good luck.
Could you help us get him on?
I definitely can't, but
In that case,
Ramen, thank you so much for being here, man.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for what you're gonna do next. Now that I know that you can churn out a viral video in 24 hours,
Hey,
I'm waiting for the next celebrity to slip up so you got a
Honestly fascinating. Like, I just listened to you for an hour and 20 minutes. I have my brain's in chaos.
Okay, cool.
There's just so much to unpack.
You have so much life experience.
Yeah,
It's
there's
crazy.
the amount that you just
Thanks.
talked in an hour and 20. Like, it's impressive.
Thanks,
like,
dude.
Like the amount of thought that you just got out. Like, I think that's like a big thing. Maybe it's not. I don't know if there's a talent like rapping is like just having a million thoughts and be able to just get them out and just
into the world.
and just with like preciseness, just boom, 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 boom. It's crazy.
I got a lot to say. There's my boy Blake Banks. He's always helped me win. Shout out to Blake Banks. He's just calling me right now.
Okay.
Call him
Thank
back.
you guys.
All right.
Come back. Ramen, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Peace
it.
out, everyone.
Suck a dick, Kanye.
Oh wait, let me. Just everything is. Message me if you're listening to this podcast. Kosha Dillz is online. Kosha Dillz.
He's on
I wanna-
Instagram. He's on Spotify.
I'm on Spotify. Yeah, I mean, if you want to support the artistry, I have that. Oh, and let me put this number in here because I have a text line. So it's 732-335-7573, and then you're part of my group, and you'll know about the shows. And listen, if you want to book me for Sheva Brachas or
Hey, get a little upsharing.
I'll love to play an upsharing. I just played a B'nai Mitzvah, which I guess is for twins, and so I did a performance. Just know if you're ever doing something for a bar mitzvah or a bat mitzvah, don't surprise them with the rapper because they're like, what? Like the kids don't know. Like they're like, we got a great rapper. He's fine. You need to tell kids what they're getting into. I'm not an amusement park. You know what I'm saying? No.
All right, guys. Thank you again, Kosha, for coming on.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Shadai.
Amazing.
Later.
Peace.